Hello, this lesson is on factoring trinomials, and this first part is where a is equal to 1. First, we'll review multiplying binomials. Here we have x plus 3 times x plus 7. If we multiply x times x, we get x squared, x times 7, 7x, 3x times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 20. 3 times 7 is 21. If we add like terms, the result is x squared plus 10x plus 21. What we are going to do today is we are going to factor or reverse FOIL. So I like to make a big X to organize my data. So what I'm looking for are the factors of 21 that are going to add to 10. The factors of 21, 1 and 21, 3 and 7. So I like to organize my numbers this way, so I know that if I multiply 3 times 7, I get 21. If I add 3 plus 7, I get 10. The 10x is now written as 7x plus 3x. I have 4 terms. I will factor by grouping. Group the first 2, group the second 2, take out the greatest common factor. So the answer would be x plus 3 times x plus 7. So hopefully you can see how this is one great big circle that we can multiply 2 binomials together. And we can also factor that result to 2 binomials. And that's what we're going to work on right now. So let's get going. So we want to find the factors of C that have the sum equal to B. And then we have some sign rules here. And that will help you determine the signs of the factors. But I also just like to write them in my big X here, and then I can figure them out. So for number 1, we need the factors of 5 that add to 6. The factors of 5 are 1 and 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. Because a is equal to 1, there's a 1 in front of this y squared. I know that this factors into y plus 1, y plus 5. Number 2, a is 1. So I need the factors of 20 that add to 9. Factors of 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So 4 and 5 will multiply to give me 20. 4 plus 5 is 9. Because a is equal to 1, I know that this factors into x plus 4 and x plus 5. Number 3, we need the factors of 10 that add to negative 7. So we need to worry about our signs. We need to multiply 2 numbers together to get a positive. And that means that both numbers must have the same sign. A positive times a positive is a positive, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So we need to do some mental math, get the factors of 10 that add to negative 7. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10, and negative 2 plus negative 5 is negative 7. So this factors into x minus 2 times x minus 5. You can always multiply these factors back together to make sure you get the original. Number 4, we need the factors of 16 that add to negative 8. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16, and negative 4 plus negative 4 is negative 8. So our factors are x minus 4 times x minus 4, Or you can write it as x minus 4, the whole quantity squared. Number 5, we need the factors of negative 100 that add to 15. Go through your list of the factors of 100. 1 and 100, 2 and 50, 5 and 20 seems like a good idea. But we need a negative 100. So one of the numbers has to be a negative, but we need a positive 15. So the bigger number needs to be positive. So our factors are x minus 5 and x plus 20. Number 6, we need the factors of negative 12 that add to negative 4. Factors of 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6. We need a negative product, so one of the numbers has to be negative. And since we need a sum of negative 4, the bigger number needs to be negative. So our factors are y plus 2 and y minus 6. Number 7, factors of negative 48 that add to negative 8. Four and negative 12. 4 times negative 12 is negative 48. 4 minus 12 is negative 8. So the factors are y plus 4 and y minus 12. Number 8, the factors of negative 100 that add to 21. 4 and 25. I need a negative product, but a positive sum. So the bigger number needs to be positive. So my factors are y minus 4 and y plus 25. Don't know what happened there, but let's try it again. We need the factors of 5 that add to 9. The only factors of 5 are 1 times 5. So because this one will not factor, it is prime. The next set of these examples now involves a not equal to 1. So we're going to have to use factor by grouping. So this is called the AC method because we're going to multiply A times C. And again, I'm going to draw the X for organizing my numbers. So we're going to take 5 times 8. 5 is A, 8 is C, so 5 times 8 is 40. We need the factors of 40 that add to 22. So 2 times 20 is 40, and 2 plus 20 is 22. But this time, we're going to take the 22x and rewrite it as 2x plus 20x. So 5x squared plus 2x plus 20x plus 8. It doesn't matter if you put 20x plus 2x or 2x plus 20x. Now we have 4 terms. We will factor by grouping. We will take out the greatest common factor. So our answer, our 2 factors are 5x plus 2 and x plus 4. If we multiply this back together, we will get 5x squared plus 22x plus 8. So we're just going to repeat these steps, keeping in mind when a is not 1, you must multiply a times c, and the sign matters. So for number 2, a is 9, c is negative 2. So we need the factors of negative 18 that add to b, and b is 3. So 3 and 6, but we have to get the correct signs. So it's going to be a negative 3. When one of the factors is negative, I would suggest you write it right after the squared term. So 9x squared minus 3x plus 6x minus 2. And then factor by grouping. Take out the greatest common factors. And then write your final answer as the 2 factors, 3x minus 1 and 3x plus 2. Number 3, a is 3, c is negative 15. 3 times negative 15 is negative 45. The factors of negative 45 that add to negative 4. Five and negative 9. Write negative 4x as negative 9x plus 5x. Factor by grouping. Take out the greatest common factor. And there's our final answer. Again, multiply this back together to check to make sure your factors are correct. A is 6, C is 8, A times C is 48. We need the factors of 48 that add to negative 19. Negative 3 times negative 16 is positive 48, and the sum is negative 19. And in this case, we don't have a positive product or a positive number here, so we're going to have to write negative 19x as negative 3x minus 16x. And when we factor by grouping, we need to attach that negative to the 16x. Take out our greatest common factor. And then check, whoops, and then check to make sure it multiplies to give you the original. Number 5. A is 5, C is negative 15. A times C is negative 75. We need the factors of negative 75 that add to 22. We have negative 3 plus 25 will give us 22. So in this case, I would definitely write negative 3x plus 25. Factor by grouping. Take out the greatest common factor. Another option for factoring is trial and error. This is where you're going to make an educated guess, and then you're just going to check by FOIL, which means you're going to multiply it together. This could be very time consuming if the numbers have several factors, but since 3x squared can only be 3x times x, we can set that up. Everything is positive, so we can put positive signs, but then we have the factors of 10. So if we tried 1 and 10, and we multiplied this together, the middle term would not be 11x. So that one doesn't work. So then we try again. That's why it's called trial and error. So we set it up again. So the factors of 10 are also 2 and 5. So we could put a 2 here and a 5 here. And then we check by multiplying. The middle term would be 2x and 15x. So that's 17x. So that one doesn't work. So we can try 3x. This time, let's switch the 2 and the 5. Check the middle term. We have 10x plus 6x. So we get 11x. And so that's the answer. The same with number 2. 7x squared only has the factors of 7x and x, so we can set that up. Then if we try 2 and 3, because 2 times 3 is 6, and we can multiply this back together to look at the middle terms, we have 2x and we have 21x. Is there any way to get 11x? And the answer is no. So this one doesn't work. But what if we switch them around? And then we multiply 3x together, or 3 times x, and 7x times 2. And we can see that we can get 11. 14 minus 3 is 11. So we need a minus 3x and a positive 14x. There are a variety of methods that can be found in Unit 1 of Ivy Learn. I will also mention that in Ivy Learn, there is a Word document on how to use the TI-30 XS Multiview calculator to find the factors. So if we need the factors of 100, look in that in Unit 1 in Ivy Learn for the Word document on how to use your calculator to find factors. This next example is a shortcut. You do not have to use this. It has many different names. In this particular video, I've called it slide and divide, when really it should be called divide and slide because you're going to divide first and then you're going to slide. But it is a shortcut for factoring trinomials when A is not 1. Here are the steps. You multiply the leading coefficient and the constant. So again, this is A times C. So in the example we have over here, A is 3, C is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. Rewrite the trinomial without the leading coefficient and replace the constant with the product from step 1. So we're going to rewrite it as x squared plus 7x plus 6. So we need the factors of 6 that are going to add to 7. And that's 1 and 6. So then you need to divide the last term in each polynomial with A. And here it's called the drop coefficient because we dropped the 3 when we rewrote it as x squared plus 7x plus 6. So A is 3. We're going to divide both factors by A. Simplify that. 6 divided by 3 is 2. You cannot simplify 1/3. And then you're going to slide the denominator in front of the variable. So your answer is x plus 2 times 3x plus 1. So pause the video and work on these practice problems. And when you have them completed, come back and check your answers. There are 9 practice problems, and this worksheet can be found in Ivy Learn, class notes. This is worksheet number 2. Okay, glad you're back. Let's go through the answers to these practice problems. So number 1, factors of 8 that add to 6, 2 and 4. Number 2, the factors of 18 that add to negative 11. Number 3, the factors of negative 24 that add to 10. Number 4, the factors of negative 12 that add to negative 4. Number 5, we now have A is 3 and C is 12. So we need the factors of 36 that add to negative 13. Negative 9 and negative 4. So if we factor using the AC method by grouping, take out your greatest common factor. Leading coefficient is a negative 4. And that is definitely the textbook way to solve or to factor this problem. So I want to go ahead and show you the slide and divide method on this particular problem. So the other method is we'll take 3 times 12, get 36. The factors that add to negative 13 are negative 9 and negative 4. So the super shortcut here is to go x minus 9, x minus 4, and then divide by a. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 4/3 doesn't simplify. Slide the 3 up in front of the x, and we have the same answer. Just another method, just another way to factor the same problem. Number 6. We need the factors of 2 times negative 9. So the factors of negative 18 that add to 7. So I'm going to work it out using the AC method, factor by grouping. So our factors are x minus 1 and 2x plus 9. Or we can do the slide and divide shortcut bottoms up. That's the name for this method. We could write the factors as x minus 2, x plus 9, and divide both of them by a. A is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And slide the 2x or the 2 in front of the x. And you can see we get the same answer. Again, it doesn't matter which method you use, but slide and divide, you're going to use when a is not 1. Number 7, we need the factors of 16 that add to negative 8, negative 4, and negative 4. Or you can write it as x minus 4 squared. Number 8, we need the factors of 4 that add to negative 5. So negative 1 and negative 4. You can factor by grouping, or you can factor using slide and divide. But your answer is 4x minus 1 and x minus 1. And number 7, We need the factors of 21 that add to 22. That's 1 and 21. Again, you can factor using the AC method. And factor by grouping, you can finish it from here, or you can use slide and divide. You divide them both by 7. And there's the answer. See you next time.